Hi, and welcome to Tennis Volley Talk episode 17 with Brian Danielson. And I have an in-house guest today, is one of my best friends, Matt Kriesel. He's been playing tennis for many years, grew up in a small town here in Minnesota. And I'm going to kind of, take it from here, and he'll kind of give you a story of how he grew up playing tennis and what got him started. And we'll kind of take it from here, and we'll, see what he has to say and everything about that. So welcome to the show, Matt. And it's a pleasure having you here with me today.
Right. Thank you, Brian.
So anyway, how did you even first start getting into tennis? Did you always have a sports background, or did it just kind of happen that you found it and, oh, I like this game or whatever?
Right. Yeah. No, my parents, where I grew up in Buffalo City, they highly encouraged me to try several different sports, whether it was baseball or tennis or skiing or basketball. Like I tried a lot of different sports. So one time when I was probably around 10, my mom, she talked to one of the local coaches of one of the teams in Winona, Minnesota, and arranged for her to come and teach a couple weekends with me and probably 6 to 8 friends. And so we all learned tennis at the same time. And then we'd, play for fun in the summer. And eventually I'd play some with my dad, some of his friends or connections he had through work or friends of friends.
Yeah. And kind of similar to what I grew up with, because when I grew up in Tulsa, it was kind of the local high school courts and what I grew up with. Right. And I kind of got I got kind of under the wing of the old guys at the tennis court, not the young kids that I grew up with and playing. There were a few of the kids that I knew that played tennis that were my age, but we played with the old guys at the tennis court that kind of took us under their wing. Right. to play. And there was 4 courts, but we played on white cement and chain link fences and yellow painted lines on the court. So they were fast. So you had to learn how to have the timing on the courts at that time. But that was always a fun experience to be able to do in that respect. So. Right. So did you have anybody that was your nemesis back then whenever you were trying to play, or did you play with some of the old guys or back in the day?
Yeah, I might not have had. I mean, I learned to play with my friends, and then as I'd play in with my dad's, like there were a few people that were better than me. I wasn't the best one, but
they're sore back then.
Right. Yeah, you're never the best when you first learn to play. And then as a kid, I did like a summer camp with other tennis players in Winona, Minnesota, and there were some good players there. And so so that was with players at Cotter in Winona, Minnesota. And
so now, was Winona that far from Buffalo City? Or?
It was about 30 minutes.
Okay, so then you didn't have to go that far to be able to be on the court and playing with other people then at that time.
Correct. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I'd get better doing a camp there, and then like the next year maybe I'd do a tournament or something and play against those players too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they were like they're similar players to me, where like they get the ball back a lot, and you'd have long volleys. And
well, yeah, and back then you kind of learned to be consistent back then with everybody. Back in the day. You didn't try to go for power because you were not that good, but yet I'm just going to get the ball back and just let them make the mistake. Right. And that's kind of probably how your game kind of formed with how you hit the ball today to this day, and just
Right.
getting the ball back and just being consistent all
Right.
the way around
And
with your game.
And actually, like my first racket was it was a racquetball racket, so it's smaller
Okay.
than a tennis racket.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have a little better control, and I could learn to hit spin.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's where you got all your nice spins that you
Right.
have today, right?
Right. So like I'd have a good forehand, like underspin slice shot that I learned as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still, and I'd be good with that as an adult too.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And the one thing that's surprising with me with your game too is that you're ambidextrous with what you do. You can hit you can hit good with the right hand, which you are right-handed mostly.
Right.
But boy, if you're pulled out of position or anything, you can hit just equally as good of a lob or a cross-court shot with your left hand too.
Right.
So was that kind of within your realm back then, or did it just kind of come to you at the time when you were growing up and you just out of necessity, I'll try to do the left hand?
Right. Yeah. No, I learned to hit some with the left hand later on, like probably in my 20s. I played a little racquetball, and you could use the left, like get your, like if you're close to the wall, like
Mhm.
I had trouble hitting a right hand backhand, so I'd get my arm close to the wall and just learn to hit it.
Okay, learn to hit it close with your left hand from the wall then too.
Right. So I learned a little on racquetball, and then
Mhm.
as I played more tennis, then I'd kind of self-teach myself to do a little bit more.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So now from Buffalo, did you then move to the Twin Cities then from there, or did you go someplace else? Or
Yeah. So after high school, I went to college at UW Stout, and then moved up to the Twin Cities
okay.
after college, and
Oh,
I've
sure.
been in the Twin Cities since 2002.
2002. Okay, it's been a long time then.
Right.
So now, as we were conversing back and forth on text and stuff, you were saying that your college then had a lot of people that were in the College Hall of Fame too, even with baseball, football, tennis, and all that, which was kind of nice to be recognized
Right.
for accomplishments in their sport
Right.
at the time too, which is always really nice of a college to be able to do. Of course, being probably a smaller college, that's probably why they did that at the time.
Right. Yeah. So that was like it wasn't college actually, but like when I was in my, say when I was 12, I played the summer camp at Winona, and some of the other players that I played with there, they later on won state in 1999. So it was Cotter High School.
Oh, okay, Cotter High School. Okay,
And-
high school back then.
Yeah. So those same players that I played with, they were good in their high school career. So
Okay.
it was fun knowing that I could play just as well as
what they were doing at the time.
Right.
And
right.
stuff. And then the high school is the one that really actually recognized them then, right?
Right.
As far as the Hall of Famers in the high
Right.
school,
Right.
which is always really good in the high school, because so many high schools, or where I grew up in Oklahoma, so many people in the high school, they just, they didn't really recognize everybody that was, as far
Right.
as a Hall of Famer or whatever from high school.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's really nice to be able to have that recognition with people that, and even from a high school at that time,
Right.
back in the day.
And then one of the tournaments too that I played when I was 12, I made the final, and in that match I played against a kid that later played for the Gophers.
Oh, really? Oh, good for that.
But I came within 1 point of beating him.
Oh,
But I couldn't
put it together quite.
Right.
And that stuck with you for so many years already.
Right. No, I remember.
Everybody remembers those close matches.
Right.
So did it go 1, 2, 3 sets, or?
Yeah, I was ahead 6-5, 40 love in the third set.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
But
and then you started thinking about it.
but this kid, he was like awesome at tracking down balls and get everything back.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have like rallies that would be like 20 to 30 hits each. And
Oh, sure.
like, you know,
And who's going to wear somebody down the most, right?
And as a kid, I mean, you only have so much patience. So
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
at some point, I had to go for something.
You had to go for something. Yeah.
And then, you know, you're going for too much, and then they're 1 point closer. So it's
Oh,
like,
sure, absolutely. So when you moved to the Twin Cities, did you then kind of keep up with the tennis at the time, or they're just kind of like, you know, had your job that you did, and then but you kind of kept it up, and then you just kind of like in that respect with keeping it up, or just kind of getting your job first established and then went back to it?
right. Yeah. Actually, like in my 20s, I didn't really play tennis very much. And then I got into it a lot more in my 30s.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
And then there was a stretch where I played once or twice a week for about 8 years.
Okay. All right. And then that's kind of where you started kind of developing more from the tennis that you had, and then having the racquetball racket that you were able to direct things a lot more with your game that you have today.
Right.
You know, and you're one of the this guy is what a supreme court directional hitter he is, because placement, and you can hit it hard to him at the baseline, and he'll like pick it up at the baseline, and he'll put it down the line on the other side of the court, and you're going, how the heck did he hit that?
Right.
All timing, because of the fact probably how you grew up and having the racquetball and learning
Right.
to maneuver that little small racket and directional stuff with that.
Just having good feel and just placement,
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to hit it too hard. Really, just
sure,
hit in the right
hit it in the right direction and place that you would need to hit it at, and everything, which is always a good thing too.
Right.
Consistency. Me, I don't have it right now. I do not have it right now.
Right.
Because I haven't played in a while, but I just don't have it.
Right. Just a little practice.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I played, you know, another friend of ours, Bruce Swanson, the other day, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was like, what is this game? Do I have strings on my racket? Whatever. So crazy in that respect too. But you know, with that, now, did you then over the course of the years with that, you know, I know that there's so many different tennis leagues here in the Minneapolis area, and you and I both at first kind of got into like the tennistour.org, which was okay, and you could get on and get people to play, but it was only the people that only wanted to play in that, and so you would only have, you know, a certain amount of people that you played, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people.
Right.
And that's all you played, because that's within the people, you know, that play. And then, of course, then, you know, another friend of ours, Scott Johnson, that kind of got into his own little league that he started. And he was really good at it too, and organizing it and getting it going. But, you know, Scott is another person that's a heck of a tennis player too.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you could he'll be willing to be on the court with you for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, if that's what it takes, whatever it takes to win or hit or whatever it is.
Yeah, he definitely wants to win.
Oh, he does definitely want to do that. And then I find it so amazing with Scott too, is how he remembers points too through I remember 4 years ago, I had a shot down the line on you, and you hooked it with your left hand and hit it cross court. But I came over, I dove, and I landed on the court, and I hit the volley for a winner or whatever. Right. He remembers that. He remembers that point from 4 years ago.
Right. Yeah. He remembers statistics.
Oh, he does, and he's really amazing with that too.
Right.
But you know, as things go, then with that, you kind of ended up then, in a sense, kind of because he kind of fell away with having injuries and stuff, and couldn't continue things. And so you ended up continuing with and organizing then the tennis league that you have now, which is called your modern Matt Kriesel League, is what it is. But you have a lot of people that are in that league now with doing that. And you're, you know, and with the statistics that you do with it too, that's really an accomplishment that you can do, and give statistics and percentages of shots and whatever you do. But that's really pretty good that you've ended up taking it over and doing such a good job with that too, with other tennis leagues within the cities itself, that you do.
Right. Yeah, I have a math background, and so like with the tennis matches, I'd keep track of like the number of games won, like the percentage people would have, or like for the year, how many sets they win or lose, or just extra stats to make it more fun.
Oh, sure, absolutely, yeah, and that kind of really makes it a something that keeps you busy in between, after you get off work or whatever, or in between work or whatever it is.
Right.
That makes it kind of nice to be able to do that kind of stat stuff with things like that too. So what's your most favorable or memorable match that you've had with any particular person within the tennis league, growing up and coming to Minnesota and playing people that you've played with?
Favorite match?
Anyone that you probably won, but maybe not, who knows? Or the favorite match that you lost against the guy that went to the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite match. But yeah, I just like playing a variety of matches against people, whether it's singles or doubles, and just, playing different combinations of matches with friends. And
oh, sure.
So I was always good at inviting friends to when we'd have doubles matches. So it'd be a fun match. So it'd be an even match.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Finding the right kind of people that join and to be able to hit with and all of that. So,
because I know a lot of players, and then so if you matched up people, like some people would have different strengths or weaknesses. So if you put the right team together,
oh, sure. Oh,
it would
yeah.
be a fun match.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, that I think here in the Twin Cities, they have World Team Tennis teams that are set up in World Team Tennis, which you could probably put together a heck of a team for World Team Tennis in the Twin Cities and go pretty far with that, and everything. But that would be kind of cool too, to be able to do, and to be able to get into and work with that. So, and actually not very far. Well, actually, Springfield, Missouri has World Team Tennis in Springfield, Missouri, which is actually coming back this year, I think, to the home courts because of the pandemic year that they had. They're coming back to the home courts that they were playing in before the pandemic. So that'd be kind of a nice thing to go see too. To see that format and to be able to see the tennis pros. And it's a very fun, exciting format with that too. To be able to see, and then plus seeing the pros that you get to see too.
Yeah, the pros are always fun.
Oh yeah, they are always fun and everything. Now, have you been to any exhibition matches yourself here in the cities or through the years? Or
I've gone to the Aquatennial.
Oh, Aquatennial, the tennis on the tennis on the
yes,
the tennis on the plaza. Yeah.
I've gone to that a couple times.
That was always a fun event to go see, to be able to see. I think I saw John Matkey, one of the Minnesota guy, and played at one time. John Matkey, and he ended up winning it, the whole thing. But that was so interesting to be able to see that format to be unfolded, and people would be eating lunch on the little steps that they had. They'd be eating their back bag lunch, and you'd be able to watch tennis on a plaza, and a bank plaza outside for that, which was really, really kind of fun thing to do at the time.
Fit a court in there.
Oh yeah, it is. And just roll out a carpet court and play that carpet court. And yeah, it was really a nice event that they had with that. And later on, you used to be able to hook into the link and watch it live at one time in whatever www dot whatever, and then you'd be able to watch it live or whatever. So, but that was always a fun event to be able to go to and watch. And everything. I went to it a couple of times, and it was really fun to watch. But with that, over the years, it's just there's so many. Because you probably grew up playing tennis. I grew up playing tennis in the early '70s, where people played all the time, and you couldn't find a court unless you knew somebody at the local courts. And you probably, in the 80s, early 80s, 90s?
Yeah, I would have started learning in the early 90s.
Early 90s. And then that's whenever you kind of had to find people to be able to try to play with, instead of just going to the court and, there's somebody here, let's hit, and whatever. And that's always a fun thing to do, to be able to hit with somebody that just you go to the court and there they are.
Right.
And everything, which is always a good thing to do anyway, too, with that. But it's always such a fun sport, kept me in shape over the years, too. And always just kept you active, and such a good sport to be in, too. To be able to play and have that within in being able to play like you do, and everything. But with that in mind here, and I also want to say that all you podcasters, if you want to go see what I'm, and go to my tennis channel, Tennis Volley Talk on YouTube, go ahead and do that. And then here very soon, I'll be showing you a racket of the day for you podcasters. So you can also go, and if you want to see what I'm talking about with the racket of the day, you can always go to my YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, and subscribe. Let me know what you think, what you want me to talk about, or whatever the case may be. Feel welcome to do so. But with that in mind, I'm going to bring out now what this is actually called the signature racket. And what this is a Schlesinger racket, which Schlesinger is a company that is actually, 1800s or so, that actually used to send their rackets to the United Kingdom to actually have their frames made into tennis rackets before late 1940s, that they decided 50s, they decided to then to have them made in the US and exclusively distribute them within the United States. Now, this happens to be a Ken Rosewall racket that was endorsed by Ken Rosewall, Schlesinger, and it was actually made, and it says on right here, but there it says it's made in England, and it was actually expressively sold for Sears and Roebuck Company, where you would get this racket at the time. And I would think probably this is probably with the little wrap around here and stuff. You're probably, and that right there. And I don't know if you know what that means, like that little string right there means.
I don't.
Okay. Well, what that means is you can see that it has a knot right there, but you turn it over and it's smooth on this side.
Okay.
Smoother or not for spin a serve. Yeah. So if it was, I'll take the knots.
Okay.
So I'll take smooth.
Better for spin.
For spin. Yeah. Then what it is now, you just spin the racket and it goes down on the court, and okay, it could damage the racket. But anyway, but this racket's probably, I would say, you're probably late 40s, mid 50s, in that area with what Ken Rosewall, because Ken Rosewall was playing up until 1974-ish. Not very much more past that, because Connors beat him in Wimbledon in two sets straight in Wimbledon. But this is the racket of the day. Ken Rosewall endorsed. Schlesinger racket, made in England and made for and shipped to be sold at Sears and Roebuck Company. So that is the racket of the day for you. And remember, you podcasters, if you want to take a look at what I'm talking about, just be sure and go to my YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, and give me a comment and see what you think and let me know. And you YouTubers, go to my channel and let me know what you comment. Let me know what you want me to talk about and stuff. But with that, it's always a pleasure just having people in house with me.
Right.
And I do appreciate you coming in with and talking with me tonight. And just hope that the tennis career keeps on going for you.
Right.
And I thank you very much for joining me in my podcast. And I thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Oh, you're so welcome. You have a good day and keep on playing.
Right.
And everybody else, keep on playing. It's getting nice out, so get out there, hit those tennis balls, and keep on getting on that court. Thank you very much, and you have a very nice day and night wherever you are. Thank you.